They say the title of Marine isn't given. It's earned. It is a title forged in fire, hammered out on the drill fields, and sealed with a promise that lasts a lifetime. For most 18-year-olds, the future is about college parties, summer road trips, or finding a job that pays the bills. But for her, it was different. She didn't want the easy path. She didn't want the safety of the known. While her friends were planning their weekends, she was planning to sign her life away to something bigger than herself. She looked in the mirror and didn't just see a girl from a small town. She saw a warrior waiting to be woken up. This is the story of a daughter, a sister, and a friend who left everything behind. She traded her civilian clothes for camouflage, her freedom for discipline, and her innocence for the hardened resolve of the United States Marine Corps. The day she left, the air felt heavier. There's a specific kind of silence that fills a home when a child is leaving for boot camp. It's not the same as going away for college. Her parents knew that the next time they saw her, she wouldn't be their little girl anymore. She would be property of the U.S. government. She packed light. You don't bring luggage to Parris Island. You bring your body, your heart, and your soul. Everything else gets stripped away. The recruiter had told her it would be tough. He talked about the physical standards, the running, the pull-ups, but he didn't tell her about the bus ride in the middle of the night. He didn't tell her about the feeling of complete isolation when the doors of that bus hissed shut. When that bus crossed the causeway onto the island, reality hit like a freight train. The shouting started before the wheels even stopped rolling. "Get off the bus! Get off the bus now!" It was chaos. Controlled, terrifying chaos. She scrambled out, her heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. And then she saw them, the yellow footprints. She stood there, heels together, feet at a 45-degree angle, eyes glued to the front. She was surrounded by dozens of other girls, all just as scared, all just as confused. In that moment, her name didn't matter. Her past didn't matter. She was just a recruit, and the transformation had begun. The first phase is designed to break you. It's not just about making you tired. It's about dismantling your ego. The drill instructors, DIs, they aren't people. To a recruit, they are monsters in perfectly pressed uniforms. They see everything. They hear everything. She learned quickly that I no longer existed. It was, "This recruit requests permission to speak, sir." Sleep became a luxury she couldn't afford. She learned to eat in 3 minutes flat, looking straight ahead, swallowing food without tasting it. She learned to march until her blisters popped and bled into her socks, and then she marched some more. There were nights she cried, silently, of course, under the wool blanket, in a squad bay filled with the sound of coughing and shifting bodies. She wondered if she had made a mistake. She missed the smell of her mom's cooking. She missed the freedom of driving her car with the windows down. But then, something shifted. The fear turned into focus. The tears turned into sweat. She stopped taking the yelling personally and started listening to the instruction. She realized the DIs weren't hating her. They were stressing her. They were simulating the chaos of combat, where a split second of hesitation means death. They were tearing down the civilian mindset to build a Marine foundation. She started to sound different, louder, sharper. When she yelled, "Aye, sir," it wasn't a question anymore. It was a declaration. Weeks turned into months. The final test loomed on the horizon, the Crucible. 54 hours, 48 miles of hiking, limited food, limited sleep. It is the defining moment of Marine Corps recruit training. It is where the recruits are pushed beyond what they think is physically possible. She was exhausted before it even started. Her body ached, her muscles screamed, but she looked to her left and she looked to her right. She saw the girls she had suffered with. They weren't strangers anymore. They were sisters. During a night hike, the weight of her pack felt like it was crushing her spine. Her vision blurred. She wanted to quit. She wanted to drop to her knees and just stop. But then she heard a voice beside her. "Don't you stop. We're almost there. Lean on me." That's the brotherhood and sisterhood of the Corps. You don't survive alone. You survive together. They dragged each other through the mud, through the simulated tear gas, through the hunger. As the sun began to rise on the final morning, the silhouette of the Iwo Jima monument appeared in the distance. The Reaper, that final, brutal hill, was behind them. They stood in formation, dirty, exhausted, covered in camouflage, paint, and sweat. But they stood taller than they ever had in their lives. The drill instructor walked down the line. The shouting was gone. The anger was gone. In his hand, he held a small piece of metal, black and gold, the eagle, globe, and anchor. He stopped in front of her. He looked her in the eye, and for the first time, he spoke to her like a human being. "Congratulations, Marine." She took it. The weight of it was small, but the meaning was infinite. In that second, the girl who left home was gone. She had died on the obstacle courses, in the sand pits, and on the hikes. Standing in her place was a United States Marine. The pain of the last 3 months washed away. She realized that every push-up, every scream, every tear was the price of admission to the world's finest fighting force. She was one of the few, the proud. Video created by Sub-81M Rock. When her family saw her at graduation, they almost didn't recognize her. It wasn't just the uniform, it was the way she held herself, the steel in her eyes. She had sworn an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States. She had sworn to serve. Her journey was just beginning. Deployments, sacrifices, and challenges lay ahead, but she was ready because she knew now that she could endure anything. To the girl who left home wondering if she was strong enough, you were. To the woman who now wears the uniform, Semper Fidelis.